Hello, I'm Neil Quigley and welcome to my podcast. Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron has accused Theresa May of following aggressive nationalistic politics. I mean, it is possibly difficult to remove yourself from a whole continent without leaning towards this approach. In her defence, leaving a room quietly is never as effective as storming out and slamming the door, is it? As Nicola Sturgeon calls for another Scottish referendum, I wonder how long it will be before they're just shaking it all about and doing a hokey-cokey up there. The government this week has banned laptops on certain planes. I've got visions of hundreds of parents having nightmares about not being able to show Peppa Pig to the under fours. That's the only way I've seen some people keep theirs quiet. Just as everyone in the world stops using cheques, banks will clear them within one working day from next year. I mean, what a shame. I always really enjoyed that 6-day period where your money was not actually your money, but their money. MP George Osborne is the new editor of the London Standard. Does make a nice change for a politician to be in charge of a newspaper rather than them seemingly controlling the politics. I was surprised when he became the new editor of the London Standard. I mean, I had no idea it was even possible to be incompetent in 2 jobs at the same time. I'll tell you what, go for your dream job, people. Experience or qualifications are clearly no longer an issue. Princess Anne has spoken in support of genetically modified food and animals in the future, which is not that surprising as historically certain royal families seem to be doing this between generations. Train drivers in Merseyside have announced they're going to strike on Grand National Day, therefore now making the actual race of the day that sprint to the taxi rank when the meeting is finished. Baby tooth removals in England are up 24% in the last decade. Sad news though, as the tooth fairy now files for bankruptcy. Ireland beat England in the rugby, denying them a second straight Grand Slam and breaking their impressive unbeaten run. England still won the Six Nations, but with it being St Patrick's weekend, trust them to rain on our parade while we all support and enjoy theirs. The Arsenal manager this week said about his future, "I know what I'll do, you will know soon." I'm just wondering if he's auditioning for the part of the Joker in the next Batman films. I'll tell you what, if Andy Murray doesn't get fit and return to winning ways soon, he'll be downgraded again from British back to Scottish. In referendum terms, it seems he's currently favouring being out. In Russia this week, they were playing curling on ice with cars, which really annoyed the Grand Tour team as they didn't think of it first. Bristol has been named the best place to live in Great Britain, apparently because it's handily placed for seaside and scenery, but I reckon it's just because everyone there is constantly drunk on cider. An Englishman this week broke the Guinness World Record for the biggest collection of Superman memorabilia. The most impressive and surprising thing about this is that he's 30 years old and married with 2 daughters. His wife must have the patience of a saint, either that or she just doesn't recognise him when he puts his glasses on. Norway is apparently the happiest place on earth, which, thinking back, the Vikings were hell-bent on conquering and viciously attacking the whole of the known world. I'm not totally convinced by this, you know. Surely if it was any Scandinavian country, I'd have thought it would have been Iceland after their exploits in the Football European Championships and their frozen party food. Weirdly this week, inflation and the price of fruit have gone up in Britain, although many have claimed experts are just comparing apples with oranges. Apple are launching a brand new red iPhone. That'll look quite stunning. I hope it's a bit like the Bat phone, and when it rings it just projects a massive Apple logo in the sky right above you. Sad news this week as the rock and roll legend Chuck Berry dies at 90, not miles per hour while riding along in his automobile, but at that age peacefully at home. Also, Colin Dexter, the creator of Inspector Morse, has sadly dashed this week. George Clooney went to an old people's home to give an 87-year-old fan a birthday surprise. Either that or he was really getting fed up with being tricked over coffee in those fancy hotels and just wanted somewhere to get a quiet cuppa. Scientists are warning that mixing energy drinks and alcohol is bad for you. I could have told them this 20 years ago after my first Red Bull and vodka and saved them thousands of pounds in research. Our lives nowadays are full of difficult decisions, like do you book a 2-week holiday in Spain all-inclusive or just fill the car up with petrol for another week? I do love holidays abroad though. Whatever time you are flying, you always treat yourself to a fry-up and a couple of pints at the airport, just like the pilots. And have you found that going through airport security is becoming more and more like performing as a stripper? You now have to remove your belt and your shoes as you go through that detector bit. All that's missing is some Velcro trousers, a bit of music and some baby oil, and that show would be complete. Have you ever been to Greece? As a welcome greeting, they give you a shot of ouzo. I mean, that is some stuff, isn't it? I spilt mine once and burnt a hole in the floor. In Spain, it is sangria, which is basically a terrible wine disguised with pieces of fruit in it. Much like when the Chancellor announces the budget. Thanks very much for listening. See you next week. Bye.